Welcome back, guys, to another video. Today we're going to be building the stats card from UI Design Daily. This is the inspiration with the background colors and everything. If you need the sketch file, all you need to do is click this button and it will download the sketch file for you. Now I also have opened some other tabs. This is my portfolio website. This is where I'll be putting a link and an image to the UI components that we build, and you can see that this is the one we built the other day. It's there, and this I recorded yesterday, but I lost my footage, so I'm sorry about that. This right here, but all this code can be found in my GitHub repository. Just show you the cards list. This is what I built yesterday, 22 hours ago. Now again, this website I have is for front-end mentor challenges. These are all the challenges that I've taken up from front-end mentor, with the latest being this one right here using CSS Grid, and it looks very nice. UI Design Daily, this is where we'll be hosting all our UI components just to keep it separate from the front-end mentor ones. So once we are done with this today, I'm going to add it right down here. So be sure to code along if you want, and let's begin. So I already have a boilerplate. This is just simple HTML generated from, if you have Emmet installed, you just exclamation and tab and it will generate a simple HTML template for you, or exclamation and enter is the same thing. I have also linked my style sheet right here, and the style sheet has the basic primary colors for the component, and I'm just going to place this side by side so that we can see it right here. So we can begin with the HTML, and we can already see that the body has a dark bluish background color. So I'm not going to add a container for the body, but I'm going to add a container for this just so that I can style it separately from the body. So let's do that with the div of class of container. And I don't want this to be a H1 because it's too small, so instead I'm going to call it a H4 and say our results. Now this is going to be a title with text align center, so we don't have to do much about it. But this, I can either use Flexbox or CSS Grid to do this, but I'm going to use CSS Grid just because I find it much better and much cleaner. It's all preference basically. So let me add another div inside here and call it a class of cards, and I'm going to say with a H2 of 70% and a paragraph saying we increased the feature adoption of our users with 70%. Now I would like this to be inside a div because this div class of cards will style these cards right here, and I would like for each one of them to be inside a div so that when I'm displaying them they don't stack on each other. So let me just do this and place this inside a div. Now this div is the one that I'll be copying down twice for this, for the second one, and this says 225, and this says new customers opted for our pro features, and this right here we're going to say 2 million, and we'll say notifications sent through our third party platforms. And right below cards I'm going to say what do you say this, let's put a paragraph and say read our top clients, and this is a link, so it won't be going anywhere. We'll just say testimonials, just like that, and we're done with our HTML, and we can move on to CSS. Now let me just open this with live server. So I think it's open right here. Okay, nice. We can close this. Now actually let me move this right here so that I can do this. Now let's just add some global styles here, and we say margin of 0 and box sizing of border box. For the body, I would like a font family of what's it called, Arial. Okay, let's just say that. We see that. Now for the margin, let me show you why we add this. The body has a background color of BG color defined up here, so I'm just going to say BG color. Actually no, that's too that's too light. Let me just check it again. Okay, that's much better. Okay, and then what we would like, so for the margin, these are the margins that we're removing. That's why you add this right here, so that it doesn't interfere with our styling. Now for the container, I'd like the container to display flex. This will align everything like this. So I would also like to add a flex direction of column that will align them in column form, and I'd like to align an item center and justify content to the center. Then we also had a min height of 100 viewport heights, just to push it down like that. Now let's also add a flex wrap. Okay, no, it's not here. Okay, we're going to add it for these cards if we're going to be using flexbox, but for now it's fine. So what we would like next is for the container to have a background color. So we're going to say a background color of container background. What did I do? Let's add a width of 400 pixels with a margin of auto, with a margin top of 20 viewport heights, and then we can remove this. 30 viewport heights. We can work with that. Let's also add a padding here of about 40 pixels. Let's also add a border radius of 10 pixels. Now what I would like next, okay, this is not the width, let's do 800 pixels. 800 pixels. Okay. Now what I would like to do next is display this as grid, so that they are placed in 3 columns. So let's just do that, and we'll say, what did I call it? Cards. I don't want to keep repeating the container here, so I'm just going to call it cards, because we only have one cards class. So cards we're going to say display grid, and grid term.com the columns to repeat 3 and 1 fractional each, and we get this. Let's also add a grid gap of about 60 pixels like that, and then for this, let's add a margin bottom right here, so that it pushes this down just a bit. So where is it? It's the container h4 class. Okay, so let's just call it the container h4, and we'll say margin bottom of 40 pixels. For the body, let's give the body a color of white for the text, but for the cards paragraph, is it a paragraph? Yes, the cards paragraph, I'm going to give it a color of text colors because it's a bit grayish. If you look right here, this is white, but this is just a bit gray. So let's give it a color of text color. And if we look at that, that looks nice. Let's also reduce the font size for this, and also add a margin up here. And for the cards, we're going to add a margin bottom here so that this pushes down. Let's just do that. Where am I? Let's say font size of 14 pixels with a margin okay, not there. For the cards, okay, sorry about that, let's say margin bottom of 40 pixels. This pushes down, and margin top on the paragraph, so margin top on the paragraph, so about 20 pixels. Okay, that's too much, 10 pixels. Let's also add a line height just to separate these two lines right here. So we're going to add a line height of 1.6. Yeah, that's good enough. That's good enough. And you can see that the text is aligned to the center right here. So for the cards, let me just text align center. Text align center, like that. Also, let's style this paragraph right here. So where is it? It's the container class with the element of paragraph. So we just set the color to be text color, and we'll like the font size to reduce to 13 pixels, just a little less than the font size for this. Read out outlines correct, and then we can also grab this and target the anchor tag for the link, and we'll say text decoration to be none, and we'll say the color to be link color, right? Just like that, just like that. Now let me just add a little more padding on the top and bottom here. So for the container, I'm going to say padding on the top to be 60 pixels, on the left right to be 40. And I think that looks much better. So now we can begin to scale it down. This had a width of 800 pixels, so we're going to start scaling it down from 800 pixels and below using media queries. Let's do that right away. And we'll say media with a max width of 800 pixels. And we'll say the container should have a width of 500 pixels. But then I would like for these to now display one fractional, so that they don't display in column, in a row format like this. So what I can do is target the cards class and grab this property right here, and I would say let them be only one fractional, like this, just like that. And actually that seems too much, so let me just reduce this to 600. Just reduce this to 600, just so that it doesn't have like an empty like, just so that the column doesn't feel too empty, you know. So for this, let me say I would like for this to reduce the padding. So let me say padding on the top and bottom should mean 60, but 0 on the left and right. Did I change anything else? Okay, I get it. It should be funded. Okay. And just like that, we have about 400 pixels here. And let me add another media query for below 800, max width of 800 pixels. We will say the container should have a width of 700 pixels, and let me just save that, see how it looks. 700 pixels, 600 pixels, 600 pixels. This looks a bit squeezed, so what I can do is just add this to 700, and then I can target the cards class, and I will say grid template columns to repeat twice, 2 and 1 fractional each. What will happen if this is display flex and flex wrap to be wrap? No, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. So let me just keep on reducing this. I'm just going to keep on reducing this. For 700 pixels, we'll say the container has a width of 600, and when it's at 600 pixels, it will go into column format. Now for 600 pixels and below, I don't want this much margin right here, so I'm going to reduce the margin. Where they place the margin? It was on the container. So for the container, I'm going to say let the margin reduce to 10, or maybe 100 pixels, the top and bottom, 0 left and right. Okay, sorry about that. Auto on the left hand side, so that it's placed to the center. Yeah, that seems much better. But then you'll notice that when we go below, when you go below 600 pixels, this is what happens. I don't want this horizontal scrolling to be there. So we're also going to add another media query for about 500 pixels with a max width of 500 pixels, and we're going to say for the container the width should be auto. Actually, just that, the width should be auto, but I want the margin margin on the left and right to be 20 pixels, just so that you can have this space right here. And just like that, we have a very nice looking stats card, even to as low as 280 pixels. And just like that, we are done. Just like that, we are done with this project. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I'm going to upload this to GitHub, and I'm also going to add it to my portfolio, as well as the components hosting website. So be sure to check back and you'll find it all right there. Be sure to like and subscribe for more of these, because I'm also going to be doing another one today called marketing stats, which is a bit tricky because it has multiple positionings. So be sure to check back, share, like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.